Hi everyone. I've had a few questions about navigating the Australian curriculum, so I thought I'd do a quick screencast for you. Unfortunately, the Australian curriculum is not very user-friendly and it's quite difficult to navigate. Equally, unfortunately, I guess the only real way to get your head around it is to spend some time playing around and exploring. Having said that, I know that many of you will be needing to use this document for your assessment, so I thought I'd do this quick screencast in an effort to help you. I guess the first thing to know is that you can access the Australian curriculum in two different ways. One is through ACARA and the other one is through the Australian curriculum website. So ACARA is like the overriding body that takes care of all curriculum, and you can access it through there. But the easiest way to do it is through the australiancurriculum.edu.au. And that will take you straight to the curriculum document. For those of you who have Apple products, I know that there is also an app for the Australian curriculum that you can download, and that's really helpful. Unfortunately, I'm not sure whether you can get that on Google Play. So if you click on the Australian curriculum, hopefully that will open up. And for some reason this hasn't actually asked me, perhaps because I go into it quite often. It will ask you whether you want to use version 8.1 or whether you want to use version 7.5. Obviously the most current version is the one to go for. So you go up here to version 8.1 and it will open up a menu for you, and you'll go to the English document. Okay, so just a refresher on how it's actually set out. So the main curriculum areas like English and Maths are set up by year level. For each one of those you'll find a description. So here's the foundation year level. So depending which state you're in, that might be prep, reception, even kindy if you're in New South Wales. It will give you an overall description of what that is. And then as you scroll down, it will give you the content descriptions. So there are the three strands: language, literature, and literacy. And then underneath those are the outcomes that are associated with that. And then within that, there are also elaborations which give you a bit more information, but I'll go into that a little bit later. So I guess for this assignment, what you need to do is think about what's involved in your learning experience. So if you've chosen something like singing, you need to think about the skills that are involved in what you're trying to achieve. So remember that activities like drama and play and singing, they're really the vehicle that you're using to develop oral language skills for your students. So it's not a drama activity, you're using drama to develop oral language skills. So for instance, if you were looking for something to do with singing, you had some singing in there, the reason you might be singing is because you're trying to develop rhyme. So you might scroll down here to phonics and word knowledge. And this might be a good indicator here because you're talking about rhyming words and alliteration and patterns and things like that. If you're talking about storytelling and reading in your learning experience, you might go up here to responding to literature. So identifying favourite stories, talking about authors, sharing feelings about what's happened in this story, that might be a good place to go for that. If you're talking about drama and role play, well, that might be more about interaction skills. So in interacting with others, it might be listening to others, using appropriate voice levels, about body language and gestures and things like that. That might be what you're trying to develop there. If you're talking about play, it might be language for interaction, which is over here. So it might be about expressing your likes and dislikes, expressing your needs, and so on and so forth. So that's what you can do there. So if I just go here for play, if I put my cursor over the top of the outcome there and then click on it, it'll open up something else that will give me a little bit more information about what that means. So you can see here that they're saying that this one is actually relevant for reading, writing, speaking, and listening. And then underneath the outcome, it actually gives you some examples of what that might look like. So those elaborations are really important. That's really where the nitty-gritty detail is in those outcomes. You can also find some of the information that you might be wanting within other Australian curriculum documents. One specific question that I've had was related to drama and an outcome that was mentioned in the Fellows and Oakley reading. So if we go back up to the top and go back in here, so drama and singing and all of those sorts of things fall under the arts. And these are written slightly differently. So instead of in year levels, they're written, so for instance, for junior primary, it would be foundation to year 2. So encompasses the first 3 years of schooling. But other than that, they work pretty much the same way. So there's a rationale, there are some aims, which you're trying to achieve there. And then down the side here, there are the different strands for the arts. So for instance, if I was to go to drama, you can see there it's telling me what needs to happen. And if I scroll down even further, it has some outcomes here. And again, if for instance I was doing role playing or whatever, I could click here and it's going to give me a lot more information in the elaboration about what that is. It also says here role playing, plots, play building, etc. So it actually gives you a bit more information. Similarly, you might find information about singing in the music strand of the arts document. But just a word of caution and maybe a bit of a reminder, remember this assessment has a focus on oral language. So the drama and the singing is just the way that you're choosing to develop the oral language skill rather than being the focus of the overall learning experience. So by all means have a look and use what you think is relevant, but it's best to let your focus be on the English curriculum so that you don't get sidetracked from what you're actually trying to achieve. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, please post them on the discussion board. Thanks everyone.